Hey, everybody, and welcome to today's show. It's so exciting to have a very talented guest that he sings a lot about bourbon, and today we're going to sip some of it. Teddy Robb is joining this show today at 1 o'clock. We've got a lot of great things coming tomorrow. Amigo the Devil is on the podcast, and next week the great Mick Fleetwood of Fleetwood Mac will be joining the Fred Minnick Show. So I'm so excited to bring these artists and combine artists with music, with everything that I am doing. I'm so passionate about music. I'm so passionate about bourbon. And what I'm finding is that these musicians, I feel like they have an ability to find their flavor profiles quicker than other people because they're constantly thinking about words and they're constantly thinking about feelings and their songwriting and everything. So it is absolutely a joy to bring these musicians to the show and introduce them to bourbon people. And I'm so stoked to bring on Teddy Robb. Teddy, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
You look pretty comfy over there. Though you said this is like your normal spot where you're hanging out during the day.
Not all the time. I'm actually over at my manager's right now. He's one of the few people I can hang out with right now. So I'm over here hanging. I love his space. It's really comfortable. And
Hmm.
if I'm going to be drinking whiskey in the afternoon, this is where I'd like to be.
This is where it's at, huh? And so
Yeah.
you just had a new song drop in the last week, right?
Yeah, so it was it was the finishing touch on my EP, which is my first EP, my first body of work
Hmm.
that has been out to the world, and it's called Good Love and Good Whiskey. So very fitting to be chatting with you today.
Yeah, you do sing a little bit about whiskey. You sing a little bit about bourbon. So I feel like it's in your DNA. You like to talk about the stuff.
Yeah, and not only that, I kind of the way I came up was playing the bar circuit. So there was kind of coming up, I was singing a lot about whiskey and drinking, and then maybe drinking a little bit myself while I was at the bars playing music, and that's just been a part of it, and I think it's a big part of country music. So yeah, I love what you're doing. I love that I get to be here and talk about it. I'm still learning about whiskey, but it's been a fun journey.
Right on. Well, just so you know, we've got people from all over the world watching right now. Cool E Running writes on YouTube says that it is 6 a.m. in Northern Ireland, or 6 p.m. in Northern Ireland, and he's pouring himself a wee dram right now. So thanks for joining in, Cool Running. I appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you all, if you haven't yet, pull out your phones and add Teddy Robb. You can find his stuff up there at the top. You can search for him in Spotify, iHeart, Apple Music, however you get your music. Start listening to him because he is a dynamic artist. He's going to play a song here in a bit, but we have some things to taste, and I'll leave this up to you, Teddy. Do you want to have a sip of whiskey before you sing, or do you want to do it after, or maybe one before, one after to see how whiskey affects the vocal cords? I mean, I don't know. What's your thoughts here?
I think we should have some before and some after.
Okay. All right. So, so do you wanna play a song for us real quick, and then do some? We'll sip some whiskey, and then we'll.
How about a little whiskey first?
Oh,
Get
you're saying before and after the. You were talking about the song. I was talking about the bourbon to the song. Okay. All right. So let's do the whiskey first.
Yeah, let's do that.
So I made the mistake of drinking all my Angels Envy limited edition that I had left. So you got the last of my Angels Envy limited edition that that I can share. So
Huh.
so you're gonna have that one on your own to taste later, but it's super good. Let's start with the
Okay.
Bulleit Bourbon Blender Select. Now is my this is my a contender for my whiskey of the year so far. I just did a taste off the other day, and I found this to be amazing whiskey. So let me kind of give you a little tutorial on like how I taste. Now, how I taste is going to be different than how other people taste and what have you. The first thing I do is I like to look at the color when bourbon goes into the barrel. It's as clear as the water from your tap. Every single day it's in that barrel. It's interacting with the oak, and it is extracting that color. It's getting the majority of its flavors from that. And then when you smell with your mouth open. By smelling with your mouth open, you're able to pick up more than just the alcohol notes. You're going to get a lot of, you'll find the sweet spots. You'll find the sweet things. You'll still smell alcohol, but hopefully that's not all you smell. And then from there, after you've smelled it, you just put a little bit on your tongue and you let it walk itself back. Now, don't kick it back like it's a shot or anything. Just put a little bit on your tongue and just kind of let it walk on back. And you can feel it just kind of dripping down there. And I imagine you're really, you pay attention to how things feel around the throat. I'm always curious to know how musicians feel about tasting whiskey as it goes down. Is it sensitive? Does it impact your vocal cords at all?
It definitely does. I mean, the technical thing is I've been told by my vocal coaches is that it dries your throat out, but I've done a few 3-4 hour shows, and I find that it actually loosens me up a little bit when I like, I don't know, that like if I'm struggling to get through a show, sometimes a shot of whiskey is exactly what I need to finish out. So I feel like it opens me up a little bit, and it just kind of relaxes me. So like as much as I kind of go back and forth with my vocal coach, it's just kind of how I learned to sing. It was drinking on stage, so I love it.
So the honky tonk has a big place in country music for sure. So what are you picking up in this Bulleit?
Well, it's incredibly smooth. It doesn't make me like make any sort of face. Honestly, it's probably one of the smoother whiskeys I've ever drank out. That's great.
Do you pick up any flavors?
I don't know if I'm picking flavors up yet. I don't know if I'm at that level. What should I be looking for?
Well, I never like to influence anyone with what they taste. I'd like you to see all right, so let's take a look at what are your favorite sweets, and then what is your least favorite flavors. Like I hate I just interviewed Amigo the Devil, really, really fascinating acoustic metal artist, and he says he hates olives, and he tastes the thing of olives, he'll just throw it out. He hates it. So everybody has that one or two flavors that they can't stand. So I'm always curious is, do you find that flavor you can't stand, and do you find some of the sweeter flavors that you really like? Because bourbon always skews toward the sweet. So,
yeah, I love sweets, vanilla, caramel, chocolate. I also can't stand olives. I have a hard time eating anything with olives on them. I feel like I probably like this so much because it does have a bit of that sweetness to it.
Do you, in terms of sweetness, are you someone who likes brownies? Do you like caramel? Do you like, vanilla pudding? Let's find out what really grabs your sweet tooth. Which one is what's your favorite sweet, if you will?
Man, all that stuff. I feel like I am a total nut when it comes to sweets, but vanilla pudding. I could go chocolate ice cream. I'll do the half baked Ben and Jerry's. Quite often, that's one of my go-tos if I'm getting a dessert. Gosh, yeah, all those things. There's not many sweets that I would rule out.
Okay, so you got a sweet tooth. All right, so
Caramel.
so you'll definitely find, like, as I look into this, you'll definitely find some caramel. You'll find some vanilla. The question is, there's a coffee note in here too, that I think I might have just picked up. See if you pick up a little coffee in there.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, you kind of nailed it. If I'm getting like a sweet, like as almost if I'm getting a coffee as a dessert, I'm getting a caramel vanilla latte.
Okay, there we go.
So
Caramel
yeah,
vanilla latte is the tasting note here for Teddy Robb.
that's no wonder I like it.
Yeah. You've got a lot of people coming in and saying hi. Karen Hagapian, I hope I said that right, says hi, Teddy.
Hello, Karen. How are you?
Now, Karen, he's got a song coming up he's going to play later, so make sure you stick around through the whole thing. Right now, we're gonna see, like, he says that Teddy said that. So now we're going to go to the Bainbridge Yama. This is an American single grain barley whiskey. It's finished in Japanese oak. So this is kind of like a new age of whiskey, if you will. Now, everyone, Teddy says he feels like he sings better after a little bit of whiskey's in him. So we might get like a special live performance here coming up, because he's getting some good stuff in him.
I either sing better or I think I sing better. I'm not sure which one it is.
I bet you sing better. Now, this one, I was on a competition. I was on a competition that's called the World Whiskey Wars, I think a few years ago. This won best, I think it won best craft whiskey. So this was the last sample I have. I mean, I really did. I pulled out some gems for you, Teddy. So we're going.
I mean, if it's anything like that first one, I haven't even eaten yet today, and that was good.
Now I should have advised you to probably eat something.
Drinking this early is
so
no, I just wanted on an empty stomach.
Yeah, well, you know what? We're going to find out how that affects you. But Rick, I hope I say his last name right. Kujini says, "What's up, Teddy? Now you're a bourbon expert, Big Rick."
Oh no, I'm speaking with the bourbon expert. I'm a student. I just started. You know, for me, drinking bourbon and whiskey started just like a dumb young, like 20-some-year-old just shooting back like Jameson. And then, which made me want to throw up. And then I started realizing that if you sip it, you can actually enjoy it. And then I started hanging out with some more mature people, and the people I work with, my producers and my manager, they're like, no, they've been the ones that have started teaching me how to drink bourbon, and now I'm with a master. So well, Rick actually,
I think Rick was just throwing you some love, but he did said he missed you at the concert last week at the Dusty Armadillo.
Oh,
and I know that this is a time where people, the musical community, like, we're kind of stuck. You can't get out and play, and for like an artist that really, I mean, you're a shooting star. I mean, you're doing really, really well. You're a Sony Recording Artist. You're dropping EPs. You're getting out. This has got to be a really, really frustrating time, because you can't get out and connect with your fans, and you can't connect with new people. So I'm hopeful that something like this, it gives you new people to talk to, and they're going to get to hear your music later. So hopefully these virtual events that all the musicians are doing can be just as impactful as playing live. I mean, what do you think?
I think that they are literally helping me get through this, because I mean, I was looking forward to an amazing spring. This was going to be my first spring really being on tour and really doing it. Last year, half the year I was on what's called radio tour, which is a lot of conference rooms and things like that. So this was going to be that, and it's definitely frustrating, but the thing is, I'm not alone, and everybody's kind of going through it right now. So I don't have any room to complain, and we're just really we're thankful for things like this, because it's giving us an opportunity to learn some new avenues and still get to perform and do some things. So really appreciate it, and Thanks for the love, Rick. Rick used to train me in high school when I played football back in the day.
What did you play?
I was a receiver, in high school and just played a little bit in college. But Rick was a great trainer. He pushed us really hard, and he set up some mindsets that I've carried with me for a long time. So thanks, Rick. Cheers.
How about that? Now I've got one of my friends commenting, and Teddy, I'm going to have to lean on you a little bit. You're a good-looking guy, and my buddy Max Solano, whom I've known for years, we're whiskey buddies, and he says to save that bourbon to pair with a pecan pie a la mode later. So save that Bulleit from his opinion. But he says that I need a shave, and I don't know. I feel like this whole quarantine beard. It might be a new thing. What do you think? You got a feel for this, or should I give it a little trim?
Man, I think it looks good, and I think letting people, be coming out of the quarantine a little crazy isn't a bad thing. I actually cleaned up last night just for you, but I was starting to look a little crazy myself, and I figured, I should clean up. But more power to you for keeping it.
Well, when my wife says to shave it, that's when I shave it. So.
Yeah, I don't have a wife to tell me to shave it yet or anything. But I do have a manager that steers me in the right direction.
Right on. All right, well let's take a look at this Bainbridge Yama. Now this is a Washington distillery doing some fun stuff. This is not a bourbon. This is a single grain or single grain. How did they label it? It is an American single grain barley whiskey. So that's basically means it's distilled barley.
Okay. What's barley?
So barley is a type of grain that basically is malt. So that's how they make malt. That's how they make. They basically take the they fake germination, and it malts out, and it kind of like creates a. Barley is a grain, so just like wheat's a grain, rye is a grain, barley is a type of grain that's prominently used in whiskey. In the American whiskey styles, it's kind of like the third grain that's put into a mash bill. But in Scotland, they do a lot of single malts, and that's kind of where that's where barley reigns supreme in whiskey. So you have a lot of distillers. I'm sorry. There was a comment there that got me to chuckle. We have some volunteers to be your wife, Teddy, but I just saw that. That's funny. But so there's a lot of distillers now trying to imitate how Scotland does how they make whiskey, and they're doing a good job. And Bainbridge is one of them.
Gosh, I love this. I wasn't sure when I smelled it. Then tasting it, it's almost like a little different when you taste it than what you think it's going to be when you smell it.
Right.
And there's something distinct about this that I can't quite figure out, but there is a really specific taste to this.
Yeah, it's to me, I get honey and like bread, like toasted bread with like a dab of butter on it.
Yeah, I love that. That's different. That's very different than most bourbons that I've tried.
So we are getting some support for the quarantine beard, so we're not alone here, Teddy.
Yeah.
We got JS saying quarantine beard time frame is not over until at least one day after we're all allowed out again. I think he's got a point.
Yeah, I agree.
He's got a good point there. All right, so
I cut my hair. That's my thing right now. I usually keep it pretty tight on the sides, and I've always kept it pretty sharp. But the quarantine has been the perfect opportunity for me to grow my hair out, which I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it's looking good. I think you should keep it up. So next up, we're going to have the Four Roses limited edition small batch. Now, any given year, that this could be the whiskey of the year. Okay, so this is a composite of 11-year-old, 15-year-old, and 21-year-old bourbon. 4 different recipes, For the bourbon fans out there, this is the 2019 Four Roses Limited Edition Small Batch, 11-year-old OESV, 15-year-old OESV, 15-year-old OESK, and 21-year-old OBSV. Now, those are all different recipes, and Four Roses is known for really making these incredible small batch, limited edition small batch.
There we go. Had the wrong one for a sec. So pouring the Four Roses 2019.
Mm-hmm. This one is like, so tasting is an experience that varies from day to day for you. So the nose, the tongue, they're all like active muscles. You know, one day you're going to run faster than the previous day and vice versa. And, you know, some days that I'm not in the mood to taste a certain type of whiskey, and some days I really, really want to taste a certain type of whiskey. And it just, you know, it has an impact on your palate and how you smell. And this one smells completely different to me than I had smelled in before. You know, before I got a lot of cinnamon out of this and a lot of caramel. This time I'm not getting those things. I'm getting like apple pie and molasses. So it's like, to me, it's like a completely different approach on a whiskey. And it's not the whiskey, it's me.
Wow. When did you start drinking whiskey?
Let's see, I was born in 1978, so probably about 1979. I kid. No, so I started legally drinking whiskey my 21st birthday. But I became, you know, my story is I enjoyed bourbon, but I did not become in any way, shape, or form somebody who studied it until after a tour in Iraq. And when I came home from Iraq in 2005, the only job I could get was as a food writer, food editor. And when you write about food, you eventually write about alcohol. And I wrote about bourbon for the first time in 2006 and just kept going on and on and on and on. And writing led to TV shows and podcasts and all this other stuff. And so here I am, sending people bourbon and talking about bourbon and doing these virtual tastings now, which this is not I would much rather be in a room with you and like doing this and where we can talk and be a little bit more, you know, I guess natural. But this is what I have to do for now, and it kind of works. So I'm glad you came on, my friend. Cheers.
Cheers.
So that's my story. How'd you get into music?
Wow. Well, I was just talking to some friends about it last night that somebody asked her, like, who got you into it? Or, you know, was there somebody that inspired you or whatever? And it really wasn't like most of my friends and family were like, what are you doing? Because when I started off, I wasn't very good. But it was just something that I felt like I had in my bones and I needed to do it. It wasn't anyone telling me to. When I was about 19, I started, you know, picking on guitar and singing. I was in college, and it was honestly, it was pretty rough in the beginning, but I just felt like there was a seed of something there that I had to keep chasing. And so I did some open mics. I had, a teacher challenged me to go do an open mic, which led to some paid gigs, which led to me thinking I should move, you know, maybe to Nashville to see if I really had something. And it felt like it was almost like I loved doing it, but doors just kept opening for me. And I thought, well, as long as these doors are opening, I'll just keep going after it. And they're still, you know, continuing to open. Now I'm chatting with you and just expanding on that. But it just started with I fell in love with country music, and it was just something I kind of wanted to go after. So I've been at it for a little over 10 years now, kind of figuring it out. But I'm still learning so much.
That's awesome. All the time. That's awesome. You know, and Tina, Tina Trozzi writes here on Facebook. She says, "Good thing you followed through," and I have to agree with that. I mean, you know, I go back to this. I feel so bad for musicians right now because you can't get out and sing to fans. And, you know, at home dad asked the question, what songs did you do early on, and what did you sing the most?
Well, early on, I moved to Nashville and I was playing downtown Broadway. So I was learning like all kinds of like, Willie and Waylon and Johnny Cash and Hank. And I was just kind of learning those songs that are, I guess, staples of country music. And, from Folsom Prison to, uh, Kenny Chesney stuff, Somewhere with You, like kind of older, all the way up to like mid 2000s. I was just getting my hands on anything I could. I remember like going and playing a gig and getting asked to sing like Friends in Low Places, and going home like stressed out because I didn't know it. So I'd learn that song, and then I'd learn another. I'd learn all these kind of staples of country music, which I guess that's how I kind of learned my thing. It wasn't like one artist that I chased after. I just kind of loved it all and wanted, a little bit of everyone. And I guess that's how I kind of eventually found my sound. And then moving out to Colorado, I started diving into John Prine and, like Angel from Montgomery and Bob Dylan, Don't Think Twice, That's All Right. And when I discovered that kind of folk thing, mixed it with the country, staples that I was learning, I felt like that's when it finally clicked for me. Like, oh, I'm a blend between kind of folk and country and rock and all that. So that was kind of how I guess it started for me.
And you have a song where you sing about bourbon, like you use it as a as kind of, I forget the lyric, but you sing it really well. And I was gonna compliment you on that, because a lot of musicians don't use bourbon, like the actual word bourbon, in their songs because it doesn't phonetically fit. It's not easy to rhyme, and you can't sing it that well. So I wanted to compliment you on that for bringing in American spirit into one of your songs. I know for a lot of people that's not easy.
Yeah, I love this song. I'm so excited that we got to cap the EP off with Good Love and Good Whiskey. It's just fun, and it's so many props out to the songwriters on this one. I'm just excited I got to be the singer on it. I write about half of my stuff, and I record outside stuff because I can't always outwrite the town. And there's songs like this that need a home, and they're what I think amazing songs. At least that's why I recorded it, because I believe in the song. And so I heard that, I'm like, oh, that's just that's the stuff I want to record. So thank you.
So JoJo asked a great question on YouTube, and guys, we're streaming on D Live, Twitch, Periscope, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. We're streaming in a lot of different places, and on YouTube, JoJo asks if you could do a duet with anyone still alive, who would it be?
The first person that comes to mind is George Strait. I had a moment when I was in college that I heard his song Troubadour, and I was like 20 years old, and the first line in that song is, "I still feel 25 most of the time." And I heard that, and for whatever reason, it hit me like different than any other song really had. And so I dove into George Strait, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but if I can somehow figure out how to make someone else feel like what that song made me feel, then maybe I could do something worthwhile, on my time on Earth. So I would love to get to do a song with George Strait someday. He doesn't probably have any idea who I am, but I certainly know who he is, and he's just inspired me so much to do country music that that would be my first person.
Well, he doesn't. I don't know. I hear like he's a guy that kind of keeps a tab on up and coming musicians. So I wouldn't be surprised if he knew about you. So, and who knows, maybe he's listening right now and picking up the phone to call Rob.
Yeah. Well, I'm on Rob all the time. Like, have you gotten in touch with George yet for me?
Right? I mean, where's George Strait, Rob? Where's George Strait? Everybody, Rob's Teddy's manager, so we're going to give him the business about this later, about not getting George Strait. I mean, seriously, come on, Rob.
Yeah. What's he even doing?
Right? And there goes the internet. He's pulling the cord right now. All right, so next up we've got the Boone County 12-year-old. Now, this is a barrel pick that I actually picked out with some friends. And it is it was made in Indiana. It was distilled and mostly aged in Indiana and bottled in Boone County, Kentucky. And I let this one be last because it is barrel proof. So it's like straight out of the barrel, not cut with water.
Okay, so were some of these cut with water?
Well, they were cut with water, so they weren't straight out of the barrel. They were cut with proofing water and bottled. But I mean, I didn't put any water in them. The distillers did.
Okay, I'm learning. So
Right on.
yeah.
So everybody, keep those questions coming in. Make sure you hit that like button if you like this sort of thing. Hit the subscribe button as well. We're going to keep the questions. Teddy's going to be singing a song here in a minute after we're done with these whiskeys, and this is the last one, so I'm excited to hear the song. Oh man, that's good.
Wow. That's incredible. You're spoiling me. You know that, right?
Well, in full disclosure, the only bottle that you could probably get that I sent you, and it may not be for long, is the Bulleit Bourbon Blender Select. Everything else is either out of stock or only available on the secondary market.
Wow.
And that the Angel's Envy I sent you, that I sipped the last drops of, is really, really sweet. I think you'll like it a lot. So when you get some time, give that a sip, and then, let me know what you think about it later.
Wow. That's incredible.
So now, folks, he's picking up the guitar, and he's going to play us a tune.
All right, well, here's good love and good whiskey. I hope you guys like it. And we haven't had it watered down one bit today. You called my girl as soon as you walked in. You went straight to the dance floor. He went straight to his friends. And if there's one thing that I can't stand, a pretty woman and a bourbon, and neither one in his hands. Well, I don't mean to be rude, girl, but I've been watching you. His whiskey waste away in that corner booth. What kind of fool leaves his top shelf sitting on ice? Watch 90 proof lose its smooth, baby. That just ain't right. Same kind of guy that brings a girl to a bar. Guys like me around, who knows good love and good whiskey ain't good watered down. That with my glass, I wouldn't let it sit. If you were my girl, you'd be on my lips. Well, I don't mean to be rude, girl, forgive me if I'm wrong. But if he likes his love like he likes his drink, he don't like it strong. What kind of fool leaves his top shelf sitting on ice? Watch 90 proof lose its smooth, baby. That just ain't right. Same kind of guy that brings a girl to a bar. Guys like me around, knows good love and good whiskey ain't good watered down. Well, I don't mean to be rude, girl, but I've been watching you and his whiskey waste away in that corner booth. What kind of fool is this top shelf sitting on ice? Watch 90 proof lose its smooth. Well, that just ain't right. Same kind of guy that brings a girl to a bar. Guys like me around who knows good love and good whiskey ain't good watered down. Good love and good whiskey ain't good watered down.
Man, that was awesome. That was awesome. You really crushed that, man.
Oh, thank you. It's the whiskey, man. It's the whiskey in the morning that loosens the chords up, and it certainly helps with confidence. Which I feel like that's half of the battle when singing is like believing what you're saying. And honestly, just singing that just now was so fun because of what we just got to do. So thank you.
Well, I tell you, I got a lot of confidence, but there ain't no way I'm pulling that off. Like you sounded great. You crushed that. A lot of compliments coming in from the chat. How many songs do you have out there? And tell everybody how they can find them.
Okay, so I just dropped my first EP. It's got 5 songs on it. And really about any way you listen to music, whether it be, any digital platform, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, Pandora, Tidal, just kind of the list goes on. If you listen to music on a platform, it's on there. And you can find me. I'm most active on Instagram, and that's just at Teddy Robb. But I'm on Facebook, which is Teddy Robb Music. I'm on YouTube. Just look up Teddy Robb. And if you want to go to a certain place that just kind of can direct you anywhere, my website's teddyrobb.com.
That's awesome, man. Well, thank you so much, Teddy, for joining the show. That's going to do it for today's episode. Did you have a favorite of the whiskeys we were trying?
I did. It was the second one, the Bainbridge. That one just blew me.
That's awesome, man. Well, grab the.
Take one last.
Yeah, I don't have much Bainbridge left, so I'm going to pour myself a little bit more. And I'm going to grab my glass and toast you and the community that we have out there that right now we're all quarantined. We're all separated from one another, but we can still be in each other's lives. And with moments like this, through streaming, through songs, and, go find Teddy, everybody. A great, brilliant talent. And in 10 years, who knows? He might be the next George Strait. So let's talk about Teddy for a moment. How about it, buddy? Thank you so much for coming on. Cheers.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for sharing some of your knowledge on this with me. It's going to go far, so appreciate it. I hope we get to do this in person someday.
Absolutely. Well, everybody, make sure you're going to teddyrobb.com and checking him out on Instagram at Teddy Robb. So that's going to do it for today's show. Make sure you're clicking that subscribe button. Give us a review while you're at it if you get a chance, if you're listening to this on Apple or any podcast streaming device. And you know what? Tell your friends. I'm doing a lot of this streaming every single night. I'm doing taste-offs. Every Friday I'm dropping recorded interviews with artists, and Thursdays I'm doing these live streamings, and on Mondays and Tuesdays I've got other celebrity tastings coming up. So make sure you're clicking subscribe, hit that reminder button, and don't miss a show. Thanks, guys. Be safe out there. Don't lick trash cans or handrails. And remember, this is very important. Vodka sucks unless it's being used for hand sanitizer. Cheers.